Okay, so imagine this for a moment. You're standing on the surface of the moon, just you and the silence. Above you, the sky is completely black, even in daylight. Beneath your feet, the ground hasn't changed in billions of years. You look at Earth, just hanging there in the distance. So close, and yet so far. We've been here before. We've walked this surface. We've brought pieces of it back home. And yet, even now, after everything we've studied, there are still questions about this place we can't fully answer. Number 10. Where did the moon really come from? The leading explanation is the giant impact hypothesis. About 4.5 billion years ago, a Mars-sized body known as Theia is thought to have collided with the early Earth. The debris from that impact eventually formed the moon. It's the best model we have, but there's a problem. The moon's isotopic composition is almost identical to Earth's, closer than most models predict. If Theia was a separate planetary body, why doesn't the moon show clearer traces of it? Some newer models suggest the collision may have mixed both bodies almost completely. Others propose multiple impacts instead of just one, but none of these scenarios have been fully confirmed. As planetary geologist Jesus Martinez Frias put it, our origins are still not entirely clear. And that's the key idea here. We don't lack theories, we lack certainty. Number 9. How much water is actually on the moon and where did it come from? For decades, scientists believed the moon was completely dry. That assumption turned out to be wrong. Multiple missions have confirmed the presence of water ice, especially in permanently shadowed craters near the South Pole. And in 2020, the SOIFA observatory detected water molecules, even on sunlit regions. But two major questions remain. First, how much water is really there? Estimates vary wildly, and we don't yet have precise measurements. Second, where did it come from? Some studies suggest comets delivered it. Others point to the solar wind interacting with lunar minerals. And a 2023 study proposed something even surprising, that Earth's magnetic field may have helped shield the moon at certain points in its orbit, allowing hydrogen to accumulate and form water. According to preliminary models, still in active research, multiple sources may be contributing at the same time. NASA's Viper rover was designed specifically to investigate this, because this isn't just a scientific curiosity. Water is the difference between short missions and a permanent human presence. Number 8. Is the moon still geologically active? For a long time, the moon was considered a dead world. No volcanism, no tectonics, no internal activity. That assumption is no longer accurate. Recent NASA-funded research indicates that the moon is slowly shrinking as its interior cools. This contraction creates faults and shallow moonquakes. Some of these quakes occur near the South Pole, the same region targeted for future Artemis landings. According to current models, which are still being refined, these tremors could potentially trigger landslides in certain areas. The question isn't if the moon is active, it's how active, and whether that activity could pose risks for long-term missions. Because building on the moon isn't just about reaching it, it's about understanding how stable it really is. Number 7. Why did the moon ring like a bell? During the Apollo missions, astronauts conducted impact experiments. They deliberately crashed modules and rocket stages into the lunar surface. The result was unexpected. The moon didn't just shake, it resonated. In one case, vibrations lasted for hours. On Earth, seismic waves dissipate quickly due to water, atmosphere, and geological complexity. The moon, by contrast, is extremely dry and rigid. This allows seismic waves to travel farther and persist longer. That's the current explanation, supported by decades of data analysis. But the exact way those waves propagate through the moon's interior is still being studied today. And that matters, because those waves are one of the few tools we have to understand what's happening deep beneath the surface. Number 6. What are transient lunar phenomena? For centuries, Astronomers have reported strange, short-lived events on the moon. Flashes, glows, color changes, mist-like formations that appear and vanish. These are known as transient lunar phenomena, or TLPs. NASA cataloged hundreds of these events as early as the 1960s. Today, thousands have been reported. Projects like ESA's Neliota are actively monitoring the moon to detect them in real time. Possible explanations include meteorite impacts, gas releases from beneath the surface, interactions with solar radiation. But here's the issue. Most of these events are difficult to reproduce or observe simultaneously from multiple sources, which means, even today, there is no confirmed unified explanation. And in science, without repeatable evidence, certainty remains out of reach. Number 5. Why did the moon have a magnetic field and what happened to it? Some lunar rocks carry a magnetic signature, a strong one, strong enough to suggest that billions of years ago, the moon had a magnetic field comparable to Earth's. But today, it doesn't. Recent studies confirm that the moon has a solid inner core. Early in its history, that core may have generated a magnetic dynamo. At some point, it stopped. Why? One hypothesis suggests internal cooling disrupted the process. Another proposes episodic magnetic activity triggered by mantle dynamics. But these are still models, not confirmed mechanisms. Understanding this isn't just about the moon. It's about planetary evolution itself. Why some worlds remain active while others fade. Number 4. What are mascons and how did they form? When early spacecraft orbited the moon, scientists noticed something strange. In certain regions, gravity was stronger, as if something dense was buried beneath the surface. These regions were named mass concentrations, or mascons. NASA's Grail mission mapped them in detail. We know they exist, but their origin is still debated. Some scientists suggest ancient impacts created dense structures beneath large basins. Others propose lava flows redistributed mass unevenly. According to current research, still inconclusive, it may be a combination of both. But there's no single confirmed explanation. And until there is, the moon's internal structure remains only partially understood. Number 3. Are there habitable caves on the moon? Orbital images have revealed vertical pits on the lunar surface, openings that may lead to underground lava tubes. If confirmed, these structures could be massive and, more importantly, protective. They could shield humans from radiation, micrometeorites, and extreme temperature swings, which makes them ideal candidates for future bases. But here's the reality. We haven't directly explored them. We don't know their size, their stability, or how accessible they are. Right now, they are promising targets, not confirmed habitats. And that distinction matters, because before we build on the moon, we need to know where we can survive. Number 2. Could the moon have once supported life? This idea sounds unlikely, but it's based on real, peer-reviewed research. A 2018 study explored conditions on the moon between 3.5 and 4 billion years ago. During that time, volcanic activity may have released gases, forming a temporary atmosphere. If that atmosphere existed, even briefly, and if liquid water was present, then in theory, conditions might not have been entirely hostile to microbial life. To be clear, there is no evidence that life existed on the moon, but the study suggests something more subtle, that under certain conditions, it may not have been impossible. And that shifts the perspective, from "it never could have happened" to "we're not entirely sure." Number 1. Why do some moonquakes have no clear cause? Apollo seismometers recorded thousands of moonquakes. Most can be explained: meteorite impacts, temperature changes, tidal forces from Earth. But there's one category that doesn't fit: so-called anomalous moonquakes. They occur deep below the surface, around 25 to 35 kilometers. They don't follow expected patterns, and they don't align with known triggers. According to NASA data, still being analyzed today, their origin remains unclear. This isn't a fringe mystery. It's a documented, ongoing investigation. And more than 50 years later, we still don't have a confirmed answer.
The moon isn't mysterious because we haven't studied it. It's mysterious despite how much we've studied it. And that's what makes it important. Because every unanswered question here isn't a failure of science, it's a frontier. Artemis missions aim to return humans to the lunar surface, especially the South Pole, the region where water may exist, where seismic activity is still being studied, where underground structures might be waiting. In the next decade, this list could become shorter, or it could grow in ways we don't expect. Because the closer we look, the more the moon stops being a destination and starts becoming a laboratory. And remember, the universe doesn't reveal its secrets to those who rush. It reveals them to those who know how to look. Subscribe and keep listening to the silence.